We are live. Hi everybody and welcome to Monday night's Facebook Live with me, Stacey Marsh. We are Monday the 20th of February here and the kids have gone back to school and it's been a really lovely sunny day. Definitely feels like spring is around the corner. So tonight I thought I would come on and share something new with you that's available from March. Demonstrators can pre-order it now and you can add it to a starter kit while that amazing joining offer stays on till the end of February. So I'm going to show you a little bit of embossing techniques tonight, so do join me, do say hi and comment along. I can see lots of people are joining. Hi Shaz, hi Joanna, hi Jane, hi Lisa. I'm all right, thank you Lisa, thank you very much for asking. It's been nice, the kids have gone back to school today so it feels like life is a bit calmer, although we didn't do a lot last week. The kids were on half-term break here and we just chilled. We didn't do much at all. We took the dog for a walk, we saw some friends, we did some cooking. It was just really nice actually. It was nice not to be rushing around and nice not to be here, there and everywhere. We're always so busy, so it made a real nice change. I hope you're all right though. So I have been really busy here in the barn, which is where I am right now, and preparing for my first ever retreat, which is not next weekend, the weekend after, which is really scary but really exciting. So the barn is full of all sorts of goodies that are arriving almost daily. I've got projects set to go, I'm busy writing instructions, I've got someone coming to test my instructions, and then yeah, it's all about that goodie bag, which is just amazing. There's boxes all down here, so I'm really excited about that. So I will stop nattering on now and we'll do some crafting, which is what you're all here for. So let's have a little turn over of the camera and I will share some new products that are coming very soon. So let's get started. Okay, so there's a brand new sheet of grid paper on my desk, which is always nice. I'm just going to raise my camera up a little bit. Hi Caroline, I'm looking forward to it today. I'm looking forward to it too even, shall I say. Right, that's better. Okay, so let me grab what I wanted to grab, which is here. So we have 3 new embossing folders that are launching on the 1st of March. I'm just trying to find the envelope that they came in to share that with you all. I might throw these away. So these 3 new embossing folders, they are the Basics 3D embossing folders and they are available as part of an online exclusive promotion that starts in March. The promotion will run similarly to how the kits do, in that they don't appear in any catalogue, you will just see them on the website. There is no end date to these products, they will continue until stocks run out. We've no idea how long stocks will last for. It's the first time this promotion will run, so I have no more information for you at this point, but it'll be exciting to see how it happens, how popular the products are, and of course to see what you will make with them. So these Basics 3D embossing folders, they come in 1 pack, so you get 3. I can't quite remember the price, but I'll find out and pop it in the comments afterwards. So this one here has got a little bit of like, it's like a star detail on that one. This one here is a crisscross style, and I actually shared a card with this one earlier on today. The card looks like this, and you can see it in the background. It's just a really subtle emboss, which sometimes it's just perfect for adding a bit of detail. So that's the embossed side, and this is the debossed side. I actually really like the debossed as well, so that's a really subtle one. And then we have this one, which is a dot, and it's a real deep embossing style, and I'm going to show all 3 of those in 3 different ways this evening. So first of all, I have got on my desk 3 circles. These circles have been cut from the layering circle dies, and I've got 3 different sizes for you. They're actually over here. I must have used that one already. So these are my 3 circles. And when you want to emboss a die cut, it's always best to do the die cutting first, because what you're going to do is you're going to pop your die cut into your embossing folder, like so. I'm actually not going to use this one. And then you're going to run it through. Now, if you were to emboss before you die cut, what's going to happen is you're going to get this lovely embossed piece of card, and then you're going to run it back through your die machine, and what's actually going to happen is when you roll it through the plate, it's going to squash that lovely embossing, so you lose the pattern altogether, which there's no point in embossing if you're going to do that. So I'm going to use this lovely star shape one first. I'm going to make a really simple card design. So I'm going to pop these on here. I'm hoping that they will all fit. They do. Now these are 3D embossing folders. So the sandwich that you're going to use when you're embossing, you're going to use your plate number 1. This is if you're using a Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. You've got plate number 1. You're going to put your embossing folder down, so you've got your crease first. Never put it through, fold it and open end first, because what it's going to do, it's going to buckle your embossing folder. So always make sure it rolls through the machine with the crease edge first. And then you're going to use your speciality plate. This is plate number 4, and this is, it's a thicker plate, but you only need those 3 things as your sandwich. Okay, so we're going to run that through our cut and emboss machine, and you get a little bit of resistance, not too much. You certainly shouldn't have to force it through. Okay. And then when you open, this is always my favourite bit with embossing, you're going to open and you've got your lovely embossed card. So that's actually come out on the debossed side. So you're going to turn it over, and that is your lovely embossed side. Okay. So you've got 1, 2 and 3. Now I promised you a simple card to get us started tonight. So I've got, oh, let me get some thick white actually. And this card design lends itself to this week's Global Design Project Challenge, which is a website. If you Google Global Design Project, you will find a website, and in there it's a weekly challenge. Okay, so I'm going to put this in so it's at 10.5, and I'm going to score. And this is a sketch. They've got a sketch challenge this week. So I've taken this idea from the sketch challenge, and I'll enter it a bit later on. So I've given myself 2 card bases there, both out of thick white card. I'm going to start by giving that a really nice crease with my bone folder. Okay. So what we have now is we have 3 circles, and they get a little bit lost when you put them on there. So let's add some colour to them. I am going to choose 3 nice colours to give me a bit of texture on them. So I've got Pale Papaya. Pale Papaya is my favourite of the oranges, and what this is this will give you a really nice subtle look to your colour palette. And I'm using the blending brush here. So what this will do is this will highlight that embossing that little bit more and really make it pop against that white card. The trick with these blending brushes is to build your colour up. Don't go in too heavy, and always remember the ink will dry lighter than when you first put it on. So I always think with these, more is more, not less is more. Okay, so I've got a nice orangey looking circle there. Hi Alison, and hi Sandra, thanks for joining us tonight. So there is my, they're almost like starfish. They are flowers, but they look a bit starfishy, so that looks a lot better on there. So we've got our peach. A colour that goes really, really nicely with the peach is a little bit of fresh freesia, which looks like this. And I do have a blending brush in purple. Let me see. I'm really busy getting ready for my retreat, so I've got blending brushes all over the place at the moment. Let's have a little look. Seem to find my purple blending brush, so we'll pop the purple back in there and we'll use a blue. Let's use Postal Cabana. Oh, I know, mint macaron. That's always nice, isn't it? And I've got a green one. Evening, Kim. Cooking dinner. Lovely jubbly. What's on the menu tonight? Hi, Caroline. Grab some ink on this one. My mint macaron ink pad is always my most used colour. Okay. It also leaves a really nice pattern on your grid paper as well. Okay, so there is our green, and then we've got one more. And tempted to leave that white, you know. It's quite nice on the white, isn't it? Let's do that. Right, so let's put these on. I'm just adding these with some multi-purpose glue, or Tombow as it's more commonly known. I'm just popping these circles on and then we've got our nice white one. Oh, that's lifting up a bit. Let's just put a little bit more glue under there. That's better. And then we've got our white one. Grilled tomato and Marmite on toast. Oh, I love a Marmite on toast. Hi Louise. No worries at all. You're not late. You're just in time. So we have our nice colour palette. We've got mint macaron, pale papaya and white. And here I've got the Dainty Delight stamp set, which I'm going to stamp this onto some white card, which I have here. And let's see, is this block big enough? Yes, it is. Let's stamp this on here. I'm going to stamp this in black. Give that a really good inking. Yep, new embossing folders tonight. They're lots of fun. And they're quite generic patterns actually, so you can use them with anything you've got in your craft room really. Lovely. So there is my flower. Now, I would say I would fussy cut, but I think there's a die in here. So let's line this up and then we're going to cut it out. That looks good. Let's pop a little bit of washi on. I always take the tack off the washi with my fingers first. Dies are on your list to get. You have the stamps. The dies are really nice actually, and there's so many of them. And these dies coordinate with the new, or not new, the free designer series papers that are part of the celebration promotion. That are very popular. And I have quite a few of those in my craft room at the moment. Let's run this through. So because we've taken off most of the tack with our fingers, that actually pops out quite nicely. So there is our die cut piece, and I'm going to put that just on there, and I'm going to leave it in black and white. I don't really want to change it too much because I think that's a really nice soft style card. So let's pop that on our card. And I'm going to add this with just a few dimensional sort of here and there. And we had that about there, didn't we? Yeah, that's nice. I quite like that. That's quite a nice, pretty little card, actually. And now we need a sentiment. Now in here, we've got thank you for your kindness, celebrate you, the best is yet to come, sending love during this season of growth, and celebrate you. Did I say celebrate you? Not quite sure. I think I'm going to go with thank you for your kindness. Yeah, look, that was really pretty, isn't it? But I feel like this needs a pop, so we're going to use some embossing. We're going to use some, what's the word? Heat embossing. So let's get some black card. And let me move another box out the way. Honestly, the boxes are taking over. Just not quite sure how I'm going to get them all to the venue. I just might need a helper. Let's do some embossing. Okay. So the trick with embossing is always to prepare your cardstock. Okay, so we're going to prepare our cardstock. We've got it nice and flat. We're going to use our embossing buddy to just take off the static that you can't see on that card with a block. And then we're stamping with Versamark, which is just a sticky ink pad. Let's put that in that corner. And then we want some white embossing powder. Okay. Lovely. So what using that embossing buddy does is it just makes sure your embossing powder only sticks to the Versamark and it doesn't stick to the static that you've got on your card. But I always recommend giving it a nice little tap with your finger to get off any excess that might be a bit stubborn. And we're going to heat it. There we go, that looks like it's set. You always know when it's set because it goes shiny. And we're going to cut this out now. So I am going to trim around this. I'm going to trim around this a bit more precisely. But I just wanted to trim off all that excess first. And then I'm just going to follow that top bit of that sentiment around. I just want a pop of black rather than a sort of solid strip. And it will just tie in that nice black and white sentiment. Such a pretty font, this one. Okay, so there is my little fussy cat sentiment, and I'm going to stick that just about there, which I think really just sets that off quite nicely. So let's pop that on. Again, I'm going to use some dimensionals, but I'm going to use the mini ones. Okay, perhaps we should hire a truck, perhaps. I'm going to pop that in there. I think that's really, really pretty, but I think it just needs one more thing to just lift it. And if you've not followed me before, this may come as a surprise. If you do follow me, this won't come as a surprise. I'm just going to do a nice little black line around the edge. It's wobbly because it's hand drawn. There you are. I think it just makes the whole thing pop. And then before we finish, I'm going to add in a couple of gems. I'm going to go with black, I think. Is this black? I do. Oops. Really sets the card off. It does, doesn't it? And there we go. That is my first card front all done. And what I will do to finish that card off inside is just add me a nice little layer of white to strengthen that back page and add a little border. Okay. Now, Stampin' Up do sell these Stampin' Right markers and they are amazing, really amazing. So you just need a Stampin' Right marker. I've also got just a couple of basic black fine liners that I bought from Amazon maybe, but just any black fine liner will do. You don't need anything special for that. So that's card number 1 done, and I'm going to put that to one side, and we'll move on to another card design and another embossing technique. So we've used the star flower one, I'm going to call it, and now we have these two. So this one here, I showed you a card with that earlier, and this one here is what I would call the bubble embossing folder, and I think it's lovely. So let's use some crumb cake card, and I'm going to cut myself a tent fold card design, which basically means rather than opening like a book, it will open like a tent, like this one. And here's a sneak peek of what's coming on my blog tomorrow, this one. So it will open like a tent and stand like a tent. Okay, so let's line this up at 10.5 centimetres and cut, and then we're going to score at between 14.8 and 14.9. Now, the reason I've cut it as a tent folder, not like the other one, is because I want to emboss my card base. Okay, so to emboss your card base, you really need this style card. If you have this style, you're not going to get it through your embossing machine unless you've got a large Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine that isn't Stampin' Up. So I'm popping that in my trimmer so that the edge, the crease of my card just sits on that edge. Okay, I'm folding it down. Bring my machine back in. I've got my plate number 1. I'm then putting down my embossing folder, so the crease is going to roll through first, and then I've got my speciality plate number 4, and then wheel that through. And I think this is my favourite one of the 3 embossing folders. Look at this. It's so pretty, and it's such a deep embossing folder. So you've got the debossed side there, which means the embossing goes in, or you have the embossed side so that the bubbles pop out. Now, I don't know which one I prefer more, but I think I'm going to go with the embossed side. So what should we do to decorate this? I know what we can do. Now, I have got this flower here, but I don't really want to have to stand and cut that out, because you lot are going to get bored, aren't you? So how about we do a little bit more embossing and stamping with this. So this is the Sweet Citrus Hybrid Embossing Folder and Stamp Set. I didn't like this when I saw it in the catalogue. It's not for me. I thought, what do I need oranges and lemons for, and limes and anything else? And then I saw it used on stage and I thought, oh, I like that. Didn't order it. And then I was lucky enough to go to Michelle last's team event, not last weekend, the weekend before, and we made the most beautiful card, which I may have in my goodie bag. I may not have finished it. No, I haven't finished it, but we made the most beautiful card with a really fun technique, and I thought I need to have that. So I've bought it. I've not played with it yet. I've played with it once, and I've made something for my retreat next weekend. So if you're coming next weekend, we will be playing with this. And I thought I would share something with you now. So the idea of this is you have stamping, and you have an embossing folder, a die that will cut it out, and the embossing folder will emboss it all at one time. It's like magic. So I'm going to cut myself just a strip of card. I'm going to do 10 by 10 by 13, which is probably a bit too big, but never mind. And what we're going to do first is we're going to stamp. Okay, so I'm going to do lemons. I'm going to go with Daffodil Delight. Okay. So first of all, you've got the outline stamp, and then you have the infill stamp. With this one, it's really important that you stamp with the outline stamp first, and then you choose the infill, because the outline stamp has this extra orange, and if you stamp this one first, you may not have room on your piece of card for the orange. So let's just give that a really nice stamp, like so. Perfect. And then we want our infill. So let's give that a nice little stamp. And then you're going to line that up so that these infills sit inside your outlines. Lovely jubbly. They look lovely. Now, this is the die you're going to use. So here, you're going to pop your die on. And if you wanted to, you could just run that through your Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, and it will die cut that out beautifully for you. Or you can use the embossing folder and do both at the same time. So what I'm going to do, and it's tricky to line it up, but once you've done it once, you get the hang of it. So what you can do if you wanted to, you can add some tacky tape to stick that on, or you can just be really clever and line it up. So this side. See what I mean? So you can feel it, the ridges there will stop it from moving. And then you want to put your die in. And what's fiddly about this is trying to do it on camera. There we have it. So that is lined up like so. So you can see those sitting in there nicely. I'm going to bring our machine back in. So I've got my plate number 1, my embossing folder, and my speciality plate. And we're going to wheel that through. Louise has just ordered this, lovely. Okay. So let's get rid of that. And this is the fun part. So you take it out, and it's got a beautiful embossed look on the white. You can take that off, and you can pop that to one side, and then there are your embossed and die cut pieces. So clever. So clever. Okay, so now let's add a little bit of ribbon around this. Now I've got here, this is really old, really old, but I love it. And I seem to have lots left. So I don't really want to lose too much of that lovely embossing. I'm just going to tie this around a bit. And I'm going to just tack that down a little bit. No one's going to see that, don't worry. And then I'm going to layer my fruit on. What do you reckon? Let's tie my little bow first. How are we doing? Are we hanging in there? Still quite a few of you on, which is lovely. Thank you so much. Okay, so there's my nice little black and white bow. Gotta love a black and white bow. And then let's stick this down. I'm going to take a photo of my desk afterwards as well to show you. So I'm just putting a dimensional in the back. Hi Kylie. These are by no means anywhere near as technical as your cards were last night, but I'm loving this embossing folder. Okay, I've got my little trio of fruit. Hi Julie, lots of you joining tonight. There must be nothing on telly tonight. I'm joking, I'm joking. Here we go. So there we have my little trio of fruit. And the sentiments in this stamp set are really sweet actually. But I think I'm going to go, let's have a look. What have I got? Yeah, they are actually. We've got enjoy the sweeter things in life and have a zesty birthday. Let's do a little bit more embossing, shall we? Just clearing space on my desk because the walls are closing in. It's always the same, isn't it? You start with an open desk and then before you know it, you've not got any space. Right, I'm going to cut myself a strip of card that is 1.5 centimetres wide. Don't worry about the length because we can trim that down. I just wanted to get a nice simple strip. And what do you reckon, birthday or any occasion? Let's go birthday. Sip of my tea, which is still hot. I know we've all got these cups that keep your tea hot. I never remember to use mine. And then I took one yesterday to a birthday party my daughter was at, and the lid broke and I ended up covered in warm coffee, which was highly embarrassing. So in the bin it went, and I've got a different one tonight. It's a game changer out here. Have a zesty birthday. So we've used our embossing buddy to get rid of all that static. And now we're going to give this a really nice coating of Versamark Stampin sentiment. Simple is good. Simple is good, especially on a Monday evening. Let's give this a little dip in our powder. And then a little heat. Nice. That's quite warm. I'm going to trim this just into a little angled banner. Angled one end and straight the other way. I'm going to trim that down a little bit. Sometimes it's nice to make sure your banner is a bit longer than your sentiment, so you can really just play around with it. Okay, now I don't really want to lose that embossing, do I? So let's have a little, do we put that down there? Do we put that up there? I think I want to put it down here, but then it feels wrong with that bow. So I'm going to put it across the middle. Now, I've forgotten to do the leaves on this stamp, so I'll do those next. Have a zesty birthday. And now I'm going to move my bow in. And this is why I never really stick my bow down to start with, because sometimes you just want to move it. Perfect, much better. So just bringing it in a little bit. There we have it, and then I've just got my leaves to stamp, which are here. And I'm going to go, now all my inks are sort of in with my retreat stuff. So what colour green have I got on my desk? I've got Parakeet Party, which may be a bit luminous, but let's have a little look. Well, actually, I've got Garden Green. Let's do Garden Green. Simple yet effective. It is simple. No fuss, no muss. I think sometimes we have all these busy craft rooms with stamps, dies, inks, punches, blends, colouring pencils, embossing, you name it. We've got all the tools. But actually, sometimes keeping it really simple it's just what you need. But it's really hard to take it back to basics and just think, right, I'm just going to use a few things. Perfect. That just finishes it off, I think, those leaves. I overcomplicate myself. I do, Louise, and I'm not talking about my crafting. I overcomplicate everything. Life in general, I complicate everything. There we go. One. And I'm going to cut a single leaf out for this next one. I like to do things in either 3s or 5s. I know I've got 4 lemons, but when it comes to embellishments, I tend to stick to an odd number. Under there. Oh, Margaret, don't worry. I'm not late at all. Okay, so there is my simple card with that lovely embossing. Let's do a little layer inside the card to strengthen. Honestly, when you see my desk, you're probably going to have nightmares. So let's go 9.5 centimetres by 13.9. And we've got that to go in there like so. Oh, it would be a perfect card to give with a bottle of gin. Oh, anything with a bottle of gin gets my vote. Nice bottle of limoncello as well. Oh, limoncello. Okay, so that's the inside. I'm going to do my age-old trick of my line. Now, I've also got in here this little bit left, haven't I? I'm going to cut that down just ever so slightly because I don't like waste. I'm going to trim that down so it's about there. Lovely, jubbly. And then I'm going to get my blending brush and my yellow ink. It's just using up that nice bit of excess that we've got. Another little embossing technique, and then that can go in there. And then what's it? Have a zesty birthday, enjoy the sweeter things in life. Going to go just in there, and that brings the black and the white into the card. So there we have my second card of the evening with the dots embossing folder. So just to recap, our first card looked like this. So I have used the, what I will call the flower sort of star pattern embossing folder. I've cut out my 3 circles first with my circle dies, and then I've embossed with white card, and then I've added my ink with blending brushes. I've used mint macaron, pale papaya, and then I've added my monochrome stamped flower, and then I've done a little heat embossed sentiment with, of course, a black line and some black embellishments. Then for this one we've used the bubble embossing folder. I'm going to call it the bubble because they feel like bubbles. It's probably dots, but I'm going to call it bubbles. I've added my lemons, which have been stamped, die cut and embossed all in one go. Nice little black and white sentiment to keep in with the black and white ribbon. Hasn't got any embellishments on, but I don't think I'm going to add any actually. I'm going to leave that one plain. A little bit more detail inside. And then a card that I shared, I made earlier, which I put somewhere on my desk that I now can't see. Here it is, here it is, here it is. This is one that I shared on my Instagram earlier as a reel. This embossing folder here is the other one, the third embossing folder in the pack. Just see if I can angle that. It's a really subtle pattern, but really, really nice. So there are my 3 cards of the evening. 2 I've made tonight, 1 I have made earlier. These embossing folders will be available from the 1st of March. If you wanted to get your hands on them earlier, you can either pop them into a demonstrator order if you're a demonstrator, or you can add them to a starter kit if you join Stampin' Up before the end of February. And that promotion at the moment is £99 for £170 worth of product, which is just amazing. We've only got 8 days left of that promotion. When you join, you can earn discount off of future orders. You'll have access to the full demonstrator community, which is global, and of course you will have access to my Stampin' Stars team, of which we've recruited 14 new demonstrators to our team since the beginning of January. How amazing is that? So I'm really excited to connect with new stampers, new crafters, and share everything about Stampin' Up that we love. So that's it from me this evening. I will leave you all there. As always, if you have any questions, please reach out, send me a message on here or Instagram, or you've got my email address at the top of my Facebook page. Any questions, comments, please pop them in. I'll try and reach out to everyone in the comments afterwards if you've asked any questions that I haven't answered. And as always, you can look at my website, staceymarsh.co.uk, if you have any follow-up questions. So that's it from me tonight, guys. Have a lovely, lovely week. I will try and be live with you Wednesday evening, school and children and schoolwork permitting, and that will be over on my YouTube channel. So I hope to see you all then. Have a lovely, lovely week, and see you all soon. Take care. Bye for now.